Today, we're talking about how to stop getting interrupted in meetings. We're going to go into three parts that are very important. This is a very simple framework that you can remember to do. One, before the meeting. Two, while you're in the meeting. And three, with the people in the one. This is what we call the inner work. A lot of times when we talk about presence and how do I stop getting interrupted, a lot of times it's looked at as tactics and strategies, which are phenomenal. Nothing wrong with tactics and strategies. I'm going to give you some in this video. But if we're not doing the deeper work, if we're not actually doing some of the inner work, then it just becomes this exhausting process of always doing tactics and strategies without really changing the core. Because I can tell you, when you do the inner work, when you commit to really doing the work that transforms you, then the tactics and the strategies become a natural byproduct. You don't have to try anymore. So, what is the inner work when we are talking about how to stop getting interrupted? Do you believe that you have something valuable to say? Do you believe that what you are sharing is just as valuable, if not more valuable than anyone else in this meeting? And I don't mean become arrogant and egotistical. In fact, the people that I work with that are attracted to my work are not egotistical and arrogant. They often are the ones who are wildly competent, but don't fully embody what they can do in this world. And I can resonate with this. This is one of the reasons why I work with leaders who are absolutely capable, but don't always embody that confidence, because I was there at one point. And the first thing you have to do is realize that what you have to say and what you have to share is not only important, but it's part of your gift into the world. It is part of your purpose. I need you to recognize you're the type of person who doesn't even need to do a lot of research. Now, you may do some research because you're lacking confidence, but a lot of times you already have the answers. You already know what the answer is. But you have to believe that what you know and what you have to share is worth hearing. There was a time in my life where I didn't think what I had to share was valuable, that I would talk really, really quick to just get it over with really quick, because I thought that the person was going to come in and cut me off. I lacked the inner authority. So the first step is always doing the inner work. So for the next week, do this for a week. Every day, write up at least 25 reasons why what you have to share is worth hearing. And if you're really ambitious, do 50. And I know it can seem excessive, but we really have to start implanting a new narrative, because the lack of confidence or feeling like you're not worth listening to is not going to come across well in a meeting with personalities that may be more dominant. So that is the first, it's inner work. Number two is outer work. So this is to increase your vocal and your physical presence. Remembering that communication is not just what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. It's your physical presence. Now, if we're walking in or we're sitting down and we're talking really quiet, or we're kind of like this and we're fidgeting and we're playing with our hair. And a lot of times you're not even conscious that you're doing this, right? It's like the nervousness is coming over and you're just touching and you're fidgeting and you're talking or you're saying a lot of filler words. This is very easy for someone, especially someone with a more dominant personality, to come in and cut you off and start running with it. So, how do you come in with more presence? One, deepen your voice. And I know this it can sound weird, like, Lisa, why do I need to change my voice? Well, you're not changing it. Our voice is an instrument. So when I'm talking to my daughter, I'll often talk with a higher tone. Or if I'm talking to young children, I'll often talk like this. It's a little bit of a higher tone. It's a little bit more of a melody. If I'm going into a meeting with CEOs and principals of a company, I'm going in with a deeper voice. I'm also going in with a louder voice. Now, this doesn't mean I'm screaming. That would be very weird and strange. But I'm going in with a tone that says, I mean business. I am of authority here. It's very easy to come in if someone's talking really quietly like this, to want to come in and share your point again for a more dominant personality. So we want to raise our voice. We want to deepen it. Doesn't mean it needs to sound like you're really deepening it. Like, no, but you can play with your voice. If you haven't played with your voice, play with it. It's an instrument. Go down a couple of notches to where it sounds natural for you, right? Shoulders back, head up. We're not slouching. We're not making ourselves small. A lot of times when we're unsure of what we are saying, we want to make ourselves small, right? We want to bend down. So we want to make a point of sitting up tall. We want to make a point of bringing our shoulders back. Picture if there was a string on top of your head, pulling you up, right? Pulling us up like this. So we are in our power. We have a presence. It's a lot harder to interrupt someone that has a powerful presence. Now, again, inner work, outer work. Number 3 is people work. So this is where if someone interrupts you, again, most of the time, when someone interrupts you, it's not going to be from a malicious place. They're excited to get something in. They lack their own skills, right? Which most people are lacking a lot of skills in communication areas. So we want to acknowledge what they have to say, especially if what they are saying is of value, especially if this is someone who often shares something of value, but we want to redirect. So Janet interrupts. What do we say? Janet, I love what you're sharing right now, and I want to hear it in detail, but I'm going to finish what I have to say, and then I'm going to turn it to you. And then you finish what you're saying. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to say, excuse me. You simply acknowledge and redirect. A big part of this, when I'm working with leaders and we're working on confidence or we're working on authority, A lot of times there's this thought pattern or a belief system that I have to overpower people or I have to dominate other people. A lot of times they feel like they've been overpowered. It's not about overpowering any. It's about owning your own power, owning your authority in the space, truly believing that you belong there and that what you have to share is valuable and giving others the respect and acknowledgement that you desire. Now, again, if someone's coming in and maliciously interrupt because there's a pattern there and you're aware of that pattern, that's another story. That's a whole nother conversation. But for the most part, what you're going to find is the more you practice this, and especially do the inner work. And I mean the real inner work. Getting honest with yourself, getting honest with what needs to be done, what's the work you need to be done. And again, this is what I do with my private clients. If you're interested in learning more about that, head on over to my website and book a test drive consult. But the more you own that authority, the more you learn some skills, the more you practice with people. I promise you, I don't care where you're starting from. I don't care if you feel like you're a mouse in the corner or if you get bulldozed all the time. Or maybe you're someone who you feel like you're unintentionally bulldozing others and you just can't seem to stop. You can change it 100%. You can absolutely make a complete 180. But it starts with you. It starts with what you're doing internally. It starts with the narrative you're having with yourself. It's starting with the story you're telling yourself on a daily basis. And then it's adding in the skills. Then it's adding in the strategies and it's practicing repeatedly until you feel like this is just how I am now. I hope this was helpful, leader. I appreciate you. I love you. And as always, let's stay connected.